Nityam Shriyam Medham Pragyam Prayachya Swaha. Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Guru Ratmeti Murti Bhed Vibhagine Vyoma Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Lukarastvandakaro Vai Lukarastvandakaha Andakara Nirodhatva Guru Vidya Vidhiyate. Yeah, the Gukarastha and the Karastha, either Icha or Vai, both are used, so sometimes we can use either one of them. Om Sahana Vavadu Sahana Bhunattu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Vaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. You know, for those of you that are not here, if you're online, you should know that there's a lot of rain going on and everybody is using umbrellas, and sometimes there's not enough umbrellas, so two people are sharing it. So that reminds me of a joke that I heard. So in India, you know, we have 28 languages, and obviously there's a lot of disparity, especially between North India and South India. So the South Indian gentleman knew a little bit of Hindi but not fluently, and gender is always a problem. So there are two words in Hindi. One for umbrella is called chhata, and for the chest it's called chhati. So there was this, it started to rain, and there was this lady standing next to a man who had the umbrella. So he was being very kind to her and said, "Madam, aap hamari chhati mein aa jaiye." She gave him a big slap.
That's so funny.
And you know, I was just thinking, this is a joke, but this is really what is happening in our life. We don't understand the language or the words or the Vidya, and so we get punished for that for no reason. We say, what did I do? Well, unless we know the right knowledge and so on and so forth. Anyway, that was just something. But this morning when I was seeing that, this joke came back to me, so I thought I'd start with that. So, I think we were looking at Avasthatraya Viveka. Avasthatraya Viveka. So, I would say that this is a very important Viveka. So, as we had mentioned from the very beginning, that our problem, our issue in life is that we make a mistake about something where I'm not able to distinguish between two things. They all look alike, they're all mixed up. This is our issue. And the way to remove this is to travel on a path of adopting viveka, a sense of discrimination, which is a very particular form of vichara, not a general investigation. In fact, our Acharya, Swami Dayanand Ji and others have really pointed this out, that the Shastra has made it very systematic. That you don't have to sort of look at it as a philosophy and you think a lot about shades of grey and this, that or the other. No, just follow this. Start with everything in a binary state. Is it this or is it this? All the wise people, Vedanta and others, they all say that the life's journey consists of the moment you are living, making a right decision, what should you do next? Don't think about future and what's going to happen. So keep that in mind. It's not as though you are oblivious of it. But even I think there's a Chinese proverb which says, the journey of life begins with a step. Absolutely correct. And Swami Dayanand used to say that, I remember this so well. He said, and also by the way, Swami Vidya, when these words come to my mind, I can't remember the year, but there was a Kumbha Abhishekam of the Rishikesh temple. And I think that's the last time I went to Rishikesh. I haven't been there. I used to go there every year. This must have been, my guess is about 10, 12 years back. I have to look it up. So there was so I was just sitting there and there was an announcement that there will be a Kumbha Abhishekam and a lot of the Mahatmas will be there. So that also attracted me. I said, let's go there. What a beautiful 3 days I spent. So there, Swami Paramarthananda was there. Swami Tattvavidananda was not. Swami Vidyatatmananda was there. A lot of the other people were there. And so the honors to actually go up the temple and do the Abhishekam is to be given to the highest honor. This highest honor is to be given to a very important, prominent person. Swami Vidyatatmananda was chosen for that. And then he gave a speech later on. And I remember his words so much. Same thing with Swami Dayanand Ji. And they both said, Swami Vidyatatmananda said, I don't understand how I got to this stage where you are honoring me to do this very important function when there are Mahatmas sitting there in front of me. Swami Paramarthananda and others are all sitting in front of me. He said, I don't get it. But, he's not saying I don't get it. He says that you must be wondering that too. Because we were all students at one time. All common, wonderful people, oblivious of what Vedanta is. But then, when something was presented in front of me, which is all given by Ishvara, all opportunities, they say that Ishvara, recognizing Ishvara is not that difficult. Not that difficult. He appears to us many, many times. Anybody that needs any help is Ishvara. And if you help that person, you open the door to recognizing Ishvara. Ishvara appears in many, many ways. But anyway, back to Swami Vidyatatmananda's talk. He says, when an opportunity came up, when I met Swami Chinmananji, it's exactly the same thing happened to me, honestly. Something struck you. Something struck me. And now, my next thought was not, what am I going to do later? What should I do now? Should I continue with this? Or should I go back to watching movies and stuff like this? And the wisdom consists of the viveka of two things in front of you in a binary form. And you keep on following the binary form, and you'll reach to a point, as Swami Vidya said, what happened? I was just a simple person in Ahmedabad. Here I am being honored as a Mahatma in front of all these other people. I cannot believe it. Swami Dayananda also used to say, he says, viveka of distinguishing between two specific steps that are in front of you is the essence of life. Don't worry about, certainly have a plan, but Ishvara gives you choices that are very palpable right in front of you. You cannot say that, I want to really become a very pious person and I want to understand Ishvara and so on. But right now, this Swami talk and so on, I've got some better things to do. Lack of viveka. Don't think about the future, think about what is in front of you. So anyway, those thoughts came to me. So the real progress in the study of Vedanta is to be very cognizant of your sense of viveka. And it will give you a journey of more and more subtle viveka. More and more subtle, more and more important. The subtler it is, the more important and more beneficial to you. And so we will actually go through this journey. We'll see how it goes. Already we are on it. But at this point, let us look at Avasthatraya and Panchakosha Viveka. What does it really mean? Okay. So we've already seen quite a few glimpses of the Avasthatraya Viveka. So just to revise that and briefly going over the Panchakosha Viveka, then we will go further. So the Avasthatraya Viveka, what it says is, listen, you have some alternate experiences during the day. This is another thing that our Acharyas, our Shruti says. You cannot believe how carefully crafted the makeup of a day is in the life of human beings. It has such significance you cannot believe. I was just reading recently, just in the last, I was finishing up a book by Swami Vivekananda, and he pointed out that there was one Swami Ramatirtha that I've only heard about. I have not really investigated where he was, but he's considered to be a Mahatma. And Swami Ramatirtha made a statement that, a very important statement, really, imagine just this. It's part of the Avasthatraya Viveka. He said, you cannot understand the depth of Vedanta by just examining your waking state. This is the statement.
Sorry, can you repeat the statement?
Sorry?
Could you repeat the statement?
The statement is that you cannot understand Atma Vidya. You cannot understand what Vedanta is trying to communicate to you by simply staying in the analysis of your Jagrata Avastha. And this is what we are doing. See, before the introduction of Vedanta, this is exactly what we're doing, because whatever we do is within the realm of the Jagrata Avastha. Changing jobs, changing spouses, educating children, taking care of the health, visiting, going, seeing South America, cruises, all this, no matter what you do, it is all within the realm of the Jagrata Avastha. So Swami Ramatita made the statement that if you didn't travel outside the realm of Jagrata Avastha, can I tell you something? You wasted your life. This is a great opportunity. So this is an important thing that Swami Kandananda articulated. Beautifully articulated. He says, Ishvara has made you a jiva so you can go beyond jivatva. Remember this, I was giving this example that Ishvara makes a person be born in a Brahmana family. He's a Brahmin. Not because he wants you to simply do pujas and so on, which is okay. But the real value of being Brahmin is to learn the Vedas. Brahmins have a much better approach, much better opportunity, not approach, but better opportunity. Because they are born in a situation like this, there's already some talk of Vedas and Vedanta. Follow that. Instead, what happens is, and this is what happens to our pujaris, instead of jnanam, they make money and waste their lives. Actually, we are very happy that they waste their lives, otherwise who will do the puja? If every Brahmin starts to say, I don't have the time and so on, so it is good that some of them don't understand. It's wonderful. But anyway, back to the seriousness of it. This is the issue that the jivatvam, the life of a jiva, is not just for living the life of a jiva. That's not maturity, that's not wisdom, but to really understand what is going on and to rise above that. So Swami Ramatita's assertions should be taken into heart. That if you want to stay within the realm of Jagrata Avastha, you are not going to get out of it. Then what? And this is what I was saying, that the makeup of a day, 24 hours of a day, by Ishvara is a very carefully crafted mechanism for us to do Atma Vichara. Very carefully crafted. It's not, that's why we have this. Every living being, and of course the human living beings, are given this cycle. Day, dream night. Jagrat, dream night. For a reason. You know, it's interesting. You can possibly, supposing you were to read, you have to design something. What would you do? You will, just like happens in our life also, you exert and then you rest. Then you exert and you need some rest. This is what happens in all the basketball and football and all of those. In football, it's very interesting. You cannot play more than once a week. You are so beaten up that you have to rest for 1 week. In basketball, it is less. Baseball, it is even less. But there is rest involved. So, very possibly that if Ishvara had to create this, he should have done only 2 things. One is waking state and the other one is sleep. That would make sense. Because, during the day you get tired and this, that and the other, mentally tired, physically tired. And it's nice to say, okay, take rest, renew your energies. That makes sense. But why did he create dream? What is the purpose of that? Is that an accident? There's no accident in the thinking of Ishvara. Cannot be. Because otherwise, how would we define Ishvara? Human being, you and I can make mistakes all over the time. But if the Ishvara also is made in a way that he also says, oops, I forgot about it, I should have thought about it. No. That's not even the definition of Ishvara as a fallible person doesn't make any sense. So by definition, Ishvara is infallible. If Ishvara is infallible, there is a creation of a dream. Is that an accident? If it was an accident, then you know what will happen? That we will maybe dream once in a while. It's not like a make-believe. It is a part and parcel of our life. As I was saying, dream should be looked as Shivalinga, Atmalinga. It is a very strong hint. We just had, what's that? What's the thing about the egg hunt? Easter. We just had Easter. So in Easter, the young kids are supposed to find eggs and hidden at all places. If you hide it in such a way that this kid gets frustrated, is that any fun? On the other hand, supposing it is all there, there's no fun either. So there is some kind of semi-hiding, semi-not there, but very methodically done. Then the kid really finds, oh, I found an egg. That means nobody else found it, well, I did. This dream is a very strong hint by Ishvara. This is like an egg hunt in an Easter. And what that means is, this is what Swami Ramatirtha was saying. The essence of his saying that you cannot reach the goal just within the examination of your Jagrata Avastha is, you have to look at the contrasts, similarities, do your viveka. This is called avasthatraya viveka. And as we have seen, I think we've already done quite a bit of that. What this does is, it should shake the foolish, unshakable belief that I am just this person and the dream and the sleep are subsidiary to me. This is foolish. Instead, if wisdom grows in your mind as this is what Shruti says. This is what we have to follow. Shruti says, you are taking yourself to be one person, you are more than one person. You are Vishwa, you are Taijasa, and you are Pragya. You are a Vishwa in the Jagrata Avastha, you are Taijasa in the Swapna Avastha, and you are Pragya in the Shruti Avastha. You go back to your Karana Sharira in a in Bija Avastha, seed state. But leave aside the rest and it's interesting, I should just say one thing. There's another purpose of sleep which should be really looked at before we go back to it. I'm just taking a small detour. And this, I remember when Swami Dayanand first talked about this, way back when I first met him, this was very, I was really struck by this point very much. What he said was this. And really, quite frankly, I was at that stage in my life where I wanted to really accomplish a lot, do a lot. And I was frustrated that I'm not able to do it. I would like to be first class first, but I couldn't be first class first. I was just merely in first class. I wanted to be a great engineer, and I was not able to be a great engineer, just an ordinary engineer. So there was frustration building up in my life. So what should I do? Now I thought that I would have to be a great person, highly accomplished, before I'll be happy. And we all go around with a long list in our minds. That if I did this, if I could this, then I will be happy. So Swami pointed out, listen, and the way he does it, it's very interesting, He was a very funny person. This chhati joke is only one. He had probably dozens of them in his back pocket. And he would sprinkle them in his talk. And one of them got to me. Because, we all tend to laugh at one time or the other, sometimes more, others. But what he would do, his joke telling, we used to tell him, Mr. Swamiji, if you ever fail as a Vedanta teacher, you should go to Las Vegas and become a comedian. He was that good. When you look at his talks, I brought a friend, a next door neighbor to me, and a good friend, Sabir Bhatia, in one of the ashram anniversaries. Words are now starting to go away from me. We came to an anniversary, and Sabir had just recently moved into our neighborhood. This is back in, 2009, 2008, and so on. And he became a good friend, and he became a very good friend of my younger son. And they were about the same age. So Manoj actually brought Sabir to the anniversary function. I didn't come, the two of them came. And so when he came back, Swami Dayanand, of course, in all the anniversaries gives a big talk. And so when he came back, I asked Sabir, I said, "Oh, Sabir, how was your visit? Tell me how was Swamiji, how did you like it?" He said, he gave a long talk, and all I remember is I only laughed through his talk. He said, I didn't get anything much out of him. So I was somewhat disappointed. I expected somebody to be sitting like this and saying, you know, you are the Atma. Instead, he was just joking around and so on and so forth. That was sort of strange to me. He said that. Swami Dayanand used to sprinkle a lot of jokes in this, and it had a very good purpose. I don't think he would have done that in the anniversary, because the anniversary is more of a celebration anyway. It's not a teaching opportunity. But he would sprinkle a lot of these jokes in his talks. And in one of those jokes, he made a point that really changed my life a little bit. You know what he said? He said, I am sure all of you have a lot of worries on your mind. That I am not going to be happy until I do this, this and this, isn't it? And I would say, yes, that's me. That's certainly me. I was very ambitious and consequently somewhat frustrated that I couldn't do everything that I wanted to do. Swamiji made a joke and I had a hard time stopping to laugh. I can't even remember which joke it was. I think there is a book of his jokes somewhere or something collection. It would be nice to see that. So he made the point, when you were happy on this slapstick joke, did you finish doing everything? No. You were happy despite it. Because if these to-do lists were real, you will never be able to get rid of them. They'll be sitting on you all the time. But a simple joke just completely eliminated them and you were happy. You know, I tell you, I thought of that. I said, oh my God, this is amazing. And really changed my life in the sense that I became less ambitious. And ultimately I went to, and I think that this, as he was saying, was even before PRC. Just in one of the talks, as best as I can remember, maybe I'm wrong. But that was part of the reason I decided, you know what? He's right. I'm never going to be able to do everything that I want to do. I'm struggling to be a good this, good that. How am I going to do that? But there's an alternative. I can be happy without doing those things. The reason I brought all this up, you may be wondering, why? Do you know something? If Swamiji is giving you this joke, consider what Ishvara is telling you. Please be very cognizant of this. You know what Ishvara is telling you? He is saying it is not necessary to be happy after you accomplish something. Even by not doing anything, you can be happy. And my dear, here is an evidence for you, deep sleep. In fact, to such an extent that if we had our choice, we will never get up. This is how dear the deep sleep is. This is how pleasant it is. And in that manner, what are you doing? Have you accomplished anything? Have you met all your goals? None of that is relevant. You are just yourself. And the only issue with that, as we were discussing in the last night's satsang, is that you don't know that you are independent. But at least the taste of being able to be happy without doing anything, you should see this as a hint. So the sleep also is a Shivalinga, Atmalinga. It's also a hint, very strong hint. And then the Swapnavastha is another hint, very beautiful hint. They all have different things to convey. Deep sleep conveys you don't need to do anything in order to be happy. This is the wrong thing. Deep sleep. Let's go to the dream state, the Swapnavastha. Swapnavastha conveys that just because you have an experience of things doesn't mean there is any reality to it. So this is what I was saying yesterday. You can connect it to it. All these points that I'm bringing up, you can kindly connect it to it. That the uniqueness of Vedanta is that it teaches you something and gives you the proof of it. It doesn't leave you hanging. That please just believe in it and maybe in the next life you may be able to go near Shiva and Vishnu, Christ and so on and so forth. Those are non-verifiable beliefs. Go with verifiable beliefs. The one that have a proof. And the design of a day is meant to give you that proof, but it requires viveka. You have to think. The same talk, if I were to give it to a normal thing, you'll say, what are you saying? It doesn't make any sense. What viveka and so on? We have a life and we should do. You're wasting my time. In fact, I don't know why I came here to listen to you. I should just be doing here, making phone calls and doing this or the other. Evidence is right in front of us and we need to take advantage of it by thinking, by doing viveka. So therefore, all of them, and then the Jagrata Avastha is also very important. All three of them are important. You've already seen the Sushupti Avastha is to be convinced that I don't have to do anything in order to be happy. Swapnavastha is important to say that even things look real but they are not. And the Jagrata Avastha is important because this is where you will understand what's going on. You cannot learn Vedanta in Sushupti and in Swapnavastha. Cannot do that. If you have some kind of a teaching going on, I've also had dreams. It's interesting. Your dreams are related to your experiences. And I've had not lately, but sometime, a lot of dreams about Swamiji giving a lecture, I am sitting there, I am giving a lecture. All these kinds of dream things are there, but that is just a vasana from the Jagrata Avastha. I never learned anything from it. You cannot. Because you don't have repeatability. This is your own imagination. You are going into the dream as an ignorant person. You cannot come out of it as a wise person because you stay ignorant. But in the Jagrata Avastha, you can become wise. So the Jagrata Avastha is very important. And you can become wise as, this is the thing I would like you to remember, as the release from Sopadika Brahma. So this Nirupadika and Sopadika is a very key thing. Very key thing. There's another couple of key things coming up later on, which I will go over. I don't want to give you everything in this class. But this Sopadika Brahma, I tell you, when I understood that, I said, wow, this is wonderful. That just because you will have continued experiences of being just a little body and needing breakfast and all that doesn't mean anything. This is just an upadhi which stays, just like we saw that the blueness does not belong to the akasha. So similarly, even while the blueness is there, you know this is not akasha. So similarly, even though these experiences of being hungry and thirsty and wanting love and affection and so on, all this is still there. But none of that pertains to the Atma. If we know this to a certain degree, and we are already knowing this to a certain degree, then the Sopadika Brahma Nivritti becomes complete. And this is what happens during the Jagrata Avastha. We might come back to some more details, but I think I want to move on from Avasthatraya Viveka. So, Swami Akhandananda in his commentary on the Brahma Sutra makes an interesting point. One point is that you can do Viveka at a samashti level. And the Viveka of the samashti level we got a glimpse of during meditation today. I don't know if you were there or not, but if you were there, the kind of thinking that we did in the meditation today was samashti viveka. Okay? You can also do vyashti viveka. Vyashti viveka means you leave aside the larger issue of identity between Jiva and Ishvara. You leave that aside for a minute. But the type of Viveka that you do can also be done within your Jivatva. How? This is called Panchakosha Viveka. Panchakosha Viveka. And this is explained best in the Taittiriya Upanishad and other places also, but roughly consists of the following. So here the word kosha is a very interesting one. The word kosha means a covering. Covering. So the classical example given is that if you have a blade of sword, that it is very dangerous. You cannot just be handling it easily and so on. So it has a scabbard or whatever it's called, a cover made out of leather with a handle. So sheath, yeah, thank you. Sheath is a better word. So this sheath is called kosha. But in terms of the understanding of Vedanta, a kosha means an obstruction, one that holds you back from understanding. So it's a kind of like a cover. It's like something like a cataract. Different kinds of cataracts.
It is different from body.
Sorry?
Is it different from a body?
It is, these are all part of that. Yeah. Because upadhi means, it's what kind of upadhi. So these are 5 different kinds of coverings in the body. And what are they? So we have Annamaya kosha, then we have Pranamaya kosha, then we have Manomaya kosha, then we have Vijnanamaya kosha, and then we have Anandamaya kosha. So the way this is that you have a physical body. This is Annamaya kosha. Then you have all the physiology in the body, and best summarized by prana, the life-giving force, including inhalation, exhalation, all of that, prana. And including all these sense organs usually is included in the pranamaya kosha, all the physiological functions. Then you have the mind. Then you have the buddhi, Vijnanamaya kosha. So buddhi here means the I thought, I am doing this. Then you have the Anandamaya kosha. This is trickier to quickly understand and we won't be able to do it. But basically, it means the feeling that I am happy connected to something that you did or you feel. This is Anandamaya kosha. It's also a kosha. You understand this? But anyway, I'll let him do it systematically. So what happens is, you are really none of these. Why not? Why are you not none of these? You are the person in which the body is, in which prana is. This is the adhisthana for all these. You are not the kosha itself, but those koshas are in you. This is not yet clear. We have to think about it and so on. So as a result, what happens is, you don't go around telling everybody, I am the body. You say, who are you? I am the body. Nobody says that. But you behave like that. You behave like that. You say, oh my gosh, my voice is gone. I'm gone. My voice is gone. I've got this problem. I've got that problem. It's all in me. So you don't say this is all in me. It will go away. None of that you don't understand. You just take the kosha to be yourself. This is the covering. So the only one here worth commenting on, which is difficult to grasp, because in Vedanta also this is discussed quite a bit, it's a lot of subtle thing, is the Anandamaya kosha. Anandamaya kosha means, because people will say, what kosha? Ananda is yourself. A sense of being happiness and so on. But here, from my understanding after a lot of learning and so on, Anandamaya kosha means a sense of happiness connected with something else. Because when somebody says, how do you like this retreat? How are you doing? Say, I like it, I'm happy. So this happiness is due to the fact that you are okay with the retreat. It is not your own inside kind of a thing. If it was all completely yourself, if somebody says, how are you doing? You'll say, I'm done whatever, it doesn't make any difference to me, I'm happy. But you don't say that. You always say, I'm happy because of this, because of that. This is the Anandamaya Kosha. I'll say, so please make a note of that. It requires more thinking on. Okay. So, just a comment on the question that Raju just asked about, is this the same thing as upadhis? It is the same thing as the upadhi, but it gains some special meaning in the sense that, like for example, as I think we will see later on also, anything that you see is instigated by being an upadhi. You see? So for example, you see a table. So now you have a table thought. So that table thought is the table upadhi. So everything is an upadhi. We cannot really go from Paramarthika Sat to Vyavaharika Sat without upadhi. So everything is an upadhi. But the Panchakosha are special kinds of upadhis. Can you guess why? Because the table doesn't bind me, but my own feeling that I am Annamaya Kosha binds. It prevents me from a more larger understanding of I am not just the body, I am the Sakshi of the body. I am the Sakshi of the table too. And I am the Sakshi of the whole cosmos. But in the case of the upadhis of the body-mind complex, it really obstructs me. So it's a special kind of upadhi. Okay. What I'm doing is looking at notes that we have already done because we have already borrowed a lot of this material. You know what, I think we have, I had a note here to go over the Vyavaharika and Paramarthika Sat, but I think we've pretty much covered that. So I won't do any more of that. One comment which I have already mentioned, but it is very interesting, very important that I would repeat it. So, in the analogy of electricity and appliances, what we should learn from that is the meaning of the word to Atma, Nirguna. Nirguna, that it doesn't have any of its own qualities. And by the way, the Atma as being Sat, Chit, Ananda, Satchidananda, or Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Anantam and Anandam are pretty much the same thing. Okay? We'll leave aside that part. One can say, how can you say that you are nirguna? You have three gunas, Sat, Chit and Ananda. No. The answer to that is, these are not guna. These are my Swarupa. You can, I think, meditate on this one thing very clearly. When you say, I know, I mean, really, this is just mind-blowing. When you say, I know, think about it. The knowingness is not my quality. That means that I would be someone that has that quality. Isn't it? Just like we saw the blue lotus, Nilotpalam. There, the Utpalam is the Dravya and Nilam is the Guna. So there's a Guna-Guni Bhava. So, if somebody says the Atma is Nirguna, it can be argued that that's not true because you have three gunas. You have Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. These are not gunas. They are a word attempt to describe what the Atma is itself, what Brahman is. It is. So it is Sat, that is the Dravya itself. And so, I think you should really practice this meditation in your own time. That you look upon yourself as these three aspects of the same thing, Sat, Chit and Ananda. Anyway, going back to this, I made a note of somewhere and I saw this, so I thought I'll just make this point again. We've already talked about it before, but this is an important point, that Atma really is Nirguna. And so the gunas of appliances don't apply to it. It has the ability to be all the gunas. Not as though it cannot be. This is a very beautiful distinction. In fact, let me close the class. That's going to take a little bit more time. Let's do it in the next class. Hopefully I'll remember it. And if I don't, please remind me. I'm going to tell you about a very important aspect of this. And it's discussed by Swami Vivekananda Ji in the topic of what is Vishaya and what is Vishayi. So I hope I'll remember to start the next class with it. If not, then please remind me. So see you at 11 o'clock. Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya